the the Pokemon market's very interesting to look at, especially over the past month or two. I really love looking at data. I don't know if that's just me, but it's very interesting to look at what happens in the Pokemon market. It's obviously very cyclical. Like, we've talked about this for the past couple of years. Like, everything goes up and down and up and down, and whatever's hyped at the time comes back down eventually, and then something else gets hyped and goes up a little bit. It's very interesting to look at the response. And here's the important thing. Take money out of the equation. Like, don't let emotional decision making based on FOMO, based on money. Like, don't do that. It's not going to be fun. Like, it's really not. We're talking about Sword and Shield booster boxes in this video. Specifically, we're going to talk about Brilliant Stars. We're going to talk about Brilliant Stars. It's been out for 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years. We've already had Fusion Strike sell out. We've already had Chilling Reign sell out. We've already had Astral Radiance sell out. And those have been impacted quite a bit. They've obviously skyrocketed. It's crazy to look at. Like, sealed product obviously continues to grow, and it always has. It always will. I don't know if it's always going to grow at the rate that it's grown over the past couple of weeks, but look at how long Fusion Strike has been out. Like, Fusion Strike has been out for 2.5 years. Chilling Reign's been out for almost 3 years now. Brilliant Stars were at the just past 2 years. I think it was February of 2022. These sets are all still in stock on the Pokemon Center website in the UK, not in the Pokemon Center United States, except for Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars is still available. It was out of stock for a brief period of time, and Brilliant Stars is a really interesting set because it was the first set where we introduced the trainer gallery. We had Fusion Strike, which we just came off the heels of Fusion Strike. People were all upset about pull rates. You only got like 7.8 pulls per booster box or something like that, which was really in line with Chilling Reign, really in line with Evolving Skies. Fusion Strike had a few less of those top end chase cards, which helped master the set a little bit easier, but it was still frustrating for a lot of people. And then Brilliant Stars came in and kind of fixed things because the trainer gallery subset was introduced, and you had beautiful storytelling cards, which for the most part were relatively easy to pull. It added an additional 4 or 5 hits per booster box, so instead of only getting like 7 to 8 hits, you usually got like 12 to 13 hits, which was a lot better for a lot of people. It actually made it feel like you were opening something, like every 3 packs you were getting a hit, as opposed to every 5 or 6 packs like what we had experienced for the first 8, 9, 10 sets of the Sword and Shield block. So it was very interesting to look at. Brilliant Stars still in stock right now, but everything else that's going on with those other sets that we talked about before is very interesting to look at, and that's why it's so important not to let your emotions get the best of you when it comes to financial spend. There's a lot of really cool cards in these sets that are still available for relatively cheap pricing. Obviously, alternate art, some of them are starting to climb back up, and that's why it's been so interesting to look at. We'll talk about those on Tuesday, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on what is all going on in the Sword and Shield market. It's all very... It just feels so deep, doesn't it? It feels so twisted. It feels so there's so many different intricacies of emotions and of thoughts that are just being shared all over the place. People are making decisions based off of other people's stuff. The important thing is to collect what you like, right? Like, collect what you like. Don't worry about buying Brilliant Stars right now at MSRP because you think it'll be $200-$300 a booster box down the road. We've had Brilliant Stars for the past couple of years. Like, if it really meant that much to you, and this is why it's so important to make the decision based off of your own thought process. If it meant so much to you, you would have bought it 2 years ago when it was $110 a booster box. Like, that's why it's important not to let it get the best of you. Focus on what it is that you enjoy. If you enjoy buying Brilliant Stars at MSRP, then go nuts and buy Brilliant Stars at MSRP. But if you like the cards that are inside, buy the cards that are inside. Buy the singles. There are singles on TC. You can buy the bulk of the set, the bulk of the master set, outside of probably like the top 2 cards. Like, if you just leave the Charizard V-Star Rainbow Rare and leave the alternate art Charizard alone, you could probably buy the majority of every other ultra rare in the set for the cost of how much a booster box of Brilliant Stars is currently, which is right around MSRP. And I'm going to flip you guys around. But I am very curious to see what you guys think, to hear what you guys think about everything that's going on. But that's why it's so important to make your best decision. All this talk that's going on with the back half of Sword and Shield, don't let it influence anything. Like, take information and then make the best decision for you. We've had all these sets available well below MSRP, and for a lot of them, right? Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, they were sub $90 boxes for a while. Astral Radiance, which is now out of stock, was under $100 at one point in time. If you didn't buy it then, it probably wasn't that interesting to you. So don't let the noise impact your decision making. If you're somebody who just likes collecting Pokemon cards, just collect Pokemon cards and don't worry about the sealed end of things. There's just a lot more attention that's paid to that because there's a lot more people who are interested in that side of the hobby. So you can let me know in the comment section down below what you think. We were talking about this on Discord the other day. If you're not in our Discord, there's a link for that in the description as well. Join the Fan Clan Discord if you want to talk about it. Maybe we can help with FOMO decisions or anything like that. But it's very interesting to look at and very interesting to see everything that's going on. This is a case of Brilliant Stars right now. So it's still really close to its lowest point over the past year. You can see a sealed case of 6 at one point in time was selling for over $1,000, almost $1,100. That was back in March of 2023. It had spent all of 2023 going down. A lot of the Pokemon market did. A lot of the Pokemon cards in the space started going down, and now you start seeing things kind of turn a little bit, which is very interesting with everything that's going on outside. Like, obviously, it's tax time. A lot of people getting refunds, things like that, making decisions based off of that. And now you can see it start to trickle up a little bit, sitting currently at $910.71. So still well below its one-year high. That breaks down to about $150. But if you're somebody who likes to collect booster box cases rather than just loose booster boxes, singular booster boxes, like we're at a point right now where I don't know if it's going to get a whole lot cheaper than this as inventory starts drying up more and more. Here's the booster box on TCG Player. It's actually a little bit higher than this, which is always interesting to me because you can still get them on the Pokemon Center website at MSRP. Now, there was a time where these were available for about $110. They went out of stock fairly quickly after Pokemon initially printed them. So right when the Brilliant Stars released back in February of 2022, these did go out of stock right away. And then after a couple of weeks, I would say, there was a small restock that kind of came out from TPCI that they sent out to LGSs, which brought the price back down. These jumped up to about $125, $130 a couple weeks after release, and then came back down to about $115, and then started climbing a little bit. And then there was a bigger reprint that impacted the market, and now they still remain in stock at MSRP on the Pokemon Center website. But you can see it going up and down. In November of 2023, it was down to $133.90. That was its low point, then started climbing back up a little bit, jumped up to $162 and a penny. Now it's leveled off at about $157. Once you factor in the fact that it's still available at MSRP on the Pokemon Center website, it's going to be hard for it to continue growing until it runs out of stock on the Pokemon Center website. We saw that with Fusion Strike. We saw that with Chilling Reign. Like, it's going to happen at some point in the near future. We're going to lose stock of Brilliant Stars, and we're at a point right now where the reprint window is basically closed on a lot of these sets. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Pokemon was like, well, they love Sword and Shield. Let's reprint a bunch of Sword and Shield sets. Who knows with the Pokemon Company? But that's why it's so important to make the best decision for you. Here's Build and Battle kits. The Build and Battle sleeve displays or sealed displays where you get a count of 10 of them, which we just opened up. We just opened up a Temporal Forces one the other day. Always very interesting because I think a lot of people kind of break these open. You can't sell sealed displays at big box retailers, so you can buy a Build and Battle kit at a big box retailer like Target, but they don't sell them in a sealed display. You can just go to the store and you can buy a singular one, or you can buy 10 of them, but it won't be in a sealed display. That's why sealed displays are always very interesting to me, but relatively flat right now. This is a $20 product. It's been basically right around $150, $155 pretty much the entire year. You can see at one point in time in October, November, it was up to $182.89, which breaks down to about $18, still below MSRP for a singular Build and Battle kit. But then there was a period of time over the course of like a week where somebody put up a few of them down for about $150, $149.98. Those got bought up. That impacted the market price, and now it's leveled off at about $156. $156.41 is where it's currently sitting, but that's still $15.64 per Build and Battle kit, which isn't bad when you factor in the fact that it's a $20 item. Here's the Brilliant Stars Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the exclusive ones. We've talked about them so many times in the past. Definitely something that looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper, and more exclusive than what you would have for like a normal ETB. Normal ETBs have been printed a lot. There's a lot of ETBs out there, a lot of normal ETBs out there. The Pokemon Center exclusive one did come back in stock at the Pokemon Center website at one point in time, and it's still available right now. So if you haven't gotten it, you definitely want to look now. It's sitting at $52.06 currently, but you can get it for $49.99 on the Pokemon Center website, which is why it didn't make sense that it was selling for $64 on TCG Player, which is why it came back down right around MSRP, and it's been sitting there ever since. Here's the Build and Battle Stadium, another very interesting product, really close to the size of an Elite Trainer box. You get a little bit more packs, a little bit more expensive than Elite Trainer box because these retail for $49.99, but you can see this well below $49.99. This is a very interesting product because a lot of people don't like Build and Battle Stadiums, and I don't blame them. Like, they just do not feel like you get enough bang for your buck out of them. You get 12 packs, but you also get two of those promo packs in them. You get the energy cards. You get a lot of stuff in them, a lot of filler stuff, which really impacts the value that you feel like you're getting out of them. This one has gone down a little bit. A lot of storefronts had to rip these open and just take out the loose packs because they weren't selling. They were only selling at a loss, which makes it very interesting to see how many of these are going to remain. And I think that's why Pokemon kind of nixed them. That's why we don't have them anymore with Temporal Forces. Paradox Rift was the last set where Build and Battle Stadiums have been printed. I don't know if they're going to do them for Twilight Masquerade. I haven't seen them, but I also haven't gotten the full order list for Twilight Masquerade yet. So a very interesting product, but you can see not selling too well, sitting at $42.23 currently, but well off of its $49.55 one-year high. Here's the Brilliant Stars ETB starting to climb a little bit closer and closer to that MSRP mark, sitting at $37.75 currently, which is just off of its one-year high of $38.79. At one point in time, you could buy these for $31.21. There was a huge reprint back in 2023, right around summertime. Even before that, there was a really big reprint, I feel like. But there was a lot of Brilliant Stars Elite Trainer boxes, sealed cases that were selling for even $280 a piece, where that basically broke down to $28 per ETB because there were so many out there. Here's the Brilliant Stars 3-pack blisters. There's a couple different variants of this. If you don't have this and you're a sealed collector, these are always very interesting to look at as well because the supply does not seem to be as available where things get held as much as some of those other products. A lot harder to turn down in the future, I feel like. And that's the other thing too. Once you move down the road, and let's say Brilliant Stars does go out of stock on the Pokemon Center website, and you fast forward time 5 years and it jumps up to, I don't know, $500-$600 a booster box. The likelihood of those selling, like, that's why it's so important to diversify. Like, selling quickly it's probably not going to happen. Even if you look at Evolving Skies right now, there's only a handful of booster boxes that are selling at that $700 price point on TCG Player over the past week to 10 days. Now, that's still not bad, but when you think about how many people are probably holding stuff, I mean, this is just the way that my mind works. And you can tell me, Fanny, you're crazy. Like, these boxes are going to move they're going to fly off the shelves 5 years down the road. I don't know. I have no idea. $15.44 is where this was. It's currently sitting at $15.06, so really flat over the past year. Sleeve booster packs are very interesting because these were a lot higher in March of 2023. They were selling for $4.96. It's not like we got a giant reprint of these. They're just more available on the market. Relatively flat for the majority of the year, and then January of 2024, it dropped all the way down. You lost about 50 cents per unit, which is, I mean, that's over 10% right there. Selling for $4.48 currently, but just off of its one-year high or one-year low of $4.48. And sleeve boosters are always a very interesting thing because a lot of people collect art sets of booster packs instead of seal packs because it's a little bit cheaper, it's easier to store. Here's the Brilliant Stars loose booster packs. These starting to climb a little bit in value. You can see closing in again on that MSRP price point. $3.80 is where it currently is, just off of its one-year high of $3.99, but way ahead of where it was at the beginning of 2023 when it was sitting at $3. Like we're looking at about a 30% growth over the past year, and that's because, I mean, there was a lot of Brilliant Stars packs that were out there. A lot of collection boxes had multiple copies of Brilliant Stars booster packs, and now you just get Scarlet and Violet packs. The most recent collection box that just came out only has Scarlet and Violet era packs in it. That's it. So they don't put a whole lot of Sword and Shield stuff in those packs anymore. You can see here's the alternate art Charizard V. This one's actually a little bit higher. I put together this presentation a few days ago. I think this one's up to about 124, 125. We'll look at it on Tuesday, but starting to climb a little bit, starting to get back to a little bit higher of a mark. It was down where it looked like it was going to fall below $100. $103.30 is where it was sitting in November. Now, over the past 3 months or so, it's gained about 10-15% back. So, I mean, way off of where it was at the beginning of March in 2023, where it was $169. That was a year after release. And now you look 2 years after release, even way cheaper. It's sitting at $119.70, but starting to make some move in the upward trajectory, sitting at $119.70 currently. Charizard V-Star Rainbow Rare. Rainbow Rares just don't do it for a lot of people, and the Charizard V-Star Rainbow Rare is no exception. You can see lots of downward movement over the course of 2023, where it was at one point in time at $79.16, and that was low a year after release. It dropped, it was over $100 at one point in time, dropped down to $79.16. in April of 2023, and then just continued to go down. Started climbing a little bit in November, but now it's lost pretty much everything that it's gained. So it's only up about 8% over its one-year low, which was $48.20 that it hit in November, sitting at $51.90 currently. Here's the Ultra Ball, the Gold Ultra Ball. This is probably the one that's making the biggest noise in Brilliant Stars. The Gold Ultra Ball is up to $32.45, which is well up from where it was in September of 2023. Competitive play has a huge impact on a lot of these cards. People like using Gold Ultra Balls. It is a staple in every deck. A lot of decks have 4 copies of it. This is the 3rd printing of Ultra Balls in a secret rare form. And if you look at how they've performed in the past, Plasma Freeze, obviously very, very expensive. The Sun and Moon base starting to climb a little bit more in price. And then you've got the one from Brilliant Stars. So historically, Gold Ultra Balls have always done really, really well. This one has grown up to $32.45, which is, over a 50% growth, or almost a 50% growth over the past 6 months or so, since September. So really starting to trend in the upward direction. Here's the Arceus V alternate art. A lot of these cards still in format, so these survived rotation. They will be around for another year yet as far as competitive play. So Arceus V will still be a thing as far as competitive play goes, but the alternate art just not nearly as expensive as some of the other ones. This was actually coming right off of its one-year low, which it hit in February of 2024. It was down to $21.47. Now it's gained a little bit back, sitting at $25.91 over the past month or so. That's about a 10-15% gain right there. But $38.15 is where it was a year ago. So well off of that. Here's the alternate art Charizard V, which has been relatively flat over the past 4 months now. Way off of where it was last year at this time. It was at $28.23. So it's lost half of its value since then and gained about 5% of it back over the past couple months, sitting at $16.80. And then you've got the Trainer Gallery, which for the most part is relatively inexpensive. This is the only card right now that's above $20 out of the entire Trainer Gallery in Brilliant Stars. A lot of people love the Trainer Gallery from Brilliant Stars. I don't blame them. The evolutions are absolutely amazing. I would rank it second, right behind Lost Origin, but I can see the arguments for first. At one point in time, over the past year, this one started gaining some ground back up there. It was at $32.28. A lot of that was because of Umbreon VMAX being playable. That's why we saw a lot of growth. So it wasn't like it just became really interesting for a lot of collectors and they wanted to start collecting it again. It was really just because this Umbreon VMAX was better than the normal one from Evolving Skies, but way cheaper than the alternate art from Evolving Skies. And you can see where it started peaking was right before the World Championship, where there was a lot of thought that Umbreon VMAX was going to be a big deck at the World Championship. Then a lot of people tested and they're like, okay, this isn't going to be as good as what we thought it was. And then it started shifting back downward, and now it's really close to that one-year low again, sitting at $21.60, currently right off of its one-year low of $20.32. But very interesting to look at how Brilliant Stars is performing and what you think the future might hold for Brilliant Stars. That's why it's interesting to look at everybody's opinions. Now, I know obviously when you talk about financial decisions and things like that, people get heated, and it's all, but if you think about it, it's just very interesting to look at. And that's why it's important not to let the FOMO, not to let the money, like, people are going to do what they want with their money. And I think that's what's important. Don't worry about everybody else's spend. Don't let that impact your spend. Like, collect what you like, but also collect what you enjoy. Like, what makes you happy, and don't focus on, well, maybe I should get into sealed collecting or something like that. If that's not your game, don't do it. Like, I don't do it. Like, I just own a storefront. Like, that's all I really care about. And the competitive side is a lot of fun. That's something I care about. And just, talking Pokemon with you guys is a lot of fun. That's what I care about. So, I love you guys. I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. We'll talk again tomorrow with another video. Until next time, peace!